Honestly, 2025 spoiled the hell out of us RPG fans. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, First Berserker Kazan Expedition 33, Wu Chang, Silk Song, just banger after banger after banger, which means 2026 has one job: don't suck. In this video, I've handpicked 4 RPGs you simply can't ignore in 2026, and I'll tell you exactly why I think they totally stand out. Let's go. So the first one is an action RPG, Phantom Blade Zero. There was a time when seeing Black Myth Wukong gameplay made me say, yeah right, that's fake as hell. But now that it's out, and it's definitely not fake, I've got this weird sense of trust, like maybe Phantom Blade Zero could be the next huge thing. It's being developed by S-Game, a Beijing-based studio known for their mobile title Phantom Blade Executioners. There's no official release date yet, but they've confirmed their reveal by the end of the year, so it's safe to assume we might see it drop sometime in 2026 on PlayStation 5 and PC. This one stands out for its unusual aesthetic, of course, the mix of Chinese mythology and grimy steampunk, but the main selling point is its gnarly combat, the gnarliest. It looks insane on every level, it's fast, it's fluid and brutal, and while the devs have said multiple times that Phantom Blade Zero is not a Souls-like, it's pretty clear to me from the footage that skill and reflexes will play a big role. There will be difficulty options too, something that's been popping up lately in games like Liza P and Kazan. Personally, I think it's a great move. Everyone gets to enjoy games on their own terms, but me though, I'm hoping Phantom Blade Zero beats me into the floor at least 10 times over. It's not yet clear if it'll have an open world. From what I've seen, it looks more mission-based, point A to B, fight a boss, move to the next area, similar to Nioh. Don't quote me on that though, but mission-based is totally fine with me, just give me more of that combat, man. At least for now, there aren't any red flags. The alpha demo's performance looked solid, according to trusted outlets like Digital Foundry. Of course, demos can differ from final builds, but it's still a good sign, right? Phantom Blade Zero doesn't have a Steam page yet, but it's an instant pre-order for me. I'll play the hell out of it and make a ton of videos too, so yeah, watch out for that. Next up is Warhammer 40k Dark Heresy, a party-based CRPG. A friend once told me, every boy gets through a Warhammer 40k phase at some point in their life. Looks like mine started at 36 after trying Dark Tide, which eventually sent me down the rabbit hole to Rogue Trader. Dark Heresy is the second Warhammer 40k game developed by Owlcat Games, the studio behind Pathfinder Kingmaker, Wrath of the Righteous, and of course Warhammer 40k Rogue Trader. They've built a reputation for crafting story-driven CRPGs that stay as faithful as possible to their tabletop counterparts. This one follows the same formula, being directly based on the Dark Heresy tabletop. You play as an acolyte of the Inquisition, serving the Imperium of Man by rooting out heresy, investigating alien corruption, and uncovering conspiracies across the Calixis sector. The story seems to be centered around the Tyrant Star, a mysterious celestial anomaly said to drive entire planets to madness and ruin. So, why does this one stand out to me? Owlcat has earned my trust despite all their quirks. They make games that are incredibly lore accurate, dense with choice, and rich in role-playing. Honestly, I would have played their next 40k project no matter what, but Dark Heresy already looks like a major step up from Rogue Trader, which is a fantastic game on its own. For one, the visuals have clearly been upgraded. Not that it's the most important thing in an isometric RPG built around dialogue, but it's still nice to see. The biggest improvement though is that Dark Heresy will be fully voice acted. The first Owlcat game to be, at least to my knowledge. That alone is a huge deal for immersion. One of the few things that kept pulling me out of my immersion bubble in Rogue Trader was that after a fully voiced prologue, most of the game went silent. It did not ruin the experience, and I get that it was likely due to budget limits, but it still felt a little bit off. Dark Heresy seems to be fixing that entirely. The only thing I'm worried about is the bugs. Owlcat games are known for their bugs and are not always too fast to go, fix them, but I'm still sold. When I get to play Dark Heresy, I'm expecting to get an immersive journey through the grimdark future with my Ogrim mate and with my IRL mates if I'm cunning enough to trick them into playing the campaign with me in multiplayer co-op.
Uncover the darkest secrets of the Imperium Nihilus within the Calixis sector. But do remember, innocence proves nothing.
At number 3, I've got Nioh 3. It's the most self-explanatory entry on this list. Nioh games are awesome, but it's also the one I'm most nervous about. Nioh 3 is being developed by Team Ninja and Koei Tecmo Games, and it's set to release on February 6th, 2026, almost exactly 6 years after Nioh 2 remastered. Nice touch, by the way, I see what you did there. It looks like they took everything they learned from Rise of the Ronin and applied it here to create the very first open world Nioh game. Other Nioh games were known for their deep character customization, flexible combat systems, and their distinctive Sengoku-era dark fantasy setting. You had multiple weapons, each with 3 stances that completely changed your approach in combat, giving you a level of control most action RPGs only dream about. So why does this one stand out to me? Easy, I'm expecting the very same from Nioh 3, but set in an open world. The first 2 games were mission-based, and honestly, I never minded that. The structure was fine because the gameplay loop was so very tight and satisfying, but after playing Rise of the Ronin, it's clear that Team Ninja and Koei Tecmo now know how to make their Nioh-style combat work in a large connected world. If they manage to blend Ronin's exploration with Nioh's precision combat, we might be looking at one of the best action RPGs of 2026. My only real concern is performance. Both Wulong Fallen Dynasty and Rise of the Ronin, their previous games, ran terribly on PC, and even after multiple patches they never fully fixed them. It's frustrating because both of these games are actually fantastic, but you know, slogging through constant stutters and drops just kills the experience for me. So yeah, I'm hoping Nioh 3 finally breaks that curse. Bottom line, there's no way I'm missing Nioh 3 in 2026. It's already pre-ordered and locked in for February 6th. If 2025 was the year of smooth day one launches, maybe 2026 will keep that streak going. And finally, the RPG I'm most excited about in 2026, Crimson Desert. If you told me that in 2026 we'd get the Dragon's Dogma 2 we actually deserved, I would have called you full of shit. But here we are. Crimson Desert doesn't actually have much in common with Dragon's Dogma 2, aside from climbing huge enemies and a vibe, but then again, what does? It's shaping up to be a massive open world RPG sandbox, packed with gorgeous visuals, gnarly combat, and an absurd amount of things to do. The game's developed by Pearl Abyss, the South Korean studio best known for Black Desert Online. Originally, Crimson Desert started as a sequel to BDO, but during development they decided to spin it into its own single-player experience set in the same universe instead. You play as a mercenary named Cliff McDuff. Yes, really, exploring the continent of Pywell. The devs claim that nearly everything you can see on the horizon you can actually reach. And that's exactly why Crimson Desert stands out to me. It looks like one of those RPGs you lose entire weeks to, staying up past midnight, promising yourself just one more quest, and then showing up to work half dead. Everything about it looks ridiculous, from the cinematic combat to the detailed world and the sheer amount of stuff to do. You've got bulletin board quests like The Witcher, some monster hunts, large-scale boss fights, large-scale siege fights, and it feels like that's just the surface. The previews also showed smaller details like blowing up watchtowers with cannons, taming animals, or just sitting at camp with your crew. It feels extremely alive and with multiple layers and handcrafted in a way we haven't seen in a while. The only thing that worries me is its MMO DNA. Given Pearl Abyss's background, post-launch support might lean into live service habits. You know, the we will fix it later, but here's another premium armor pack situation. That said, if they keep it single player first and keep the focus on exploration and storytelling, I think we're in for something truly special. Crimson Desert looks like the kind of open world RPG I've been dreaming about. Vast, beautiful, with gnarly combat and endless things to do. I really hope it lives up to the hype, because if it does, this could be the game of the year, and I'll be there on day one. You know what, Lords of the Fallen 2 should honestly be here, but it's an Epic Games Store exclusive, so it's not. Still, I want to mention it because I'm genuinely excited for the sequel. Lords of the Fallen 2023 was a great game. It's too bad I won't be picking the new one up until it eventually crawls back to Steam. I've really been enjoying this format lately, these 4 games that videos. If you like this one, check out the others from my backlog, they're on screen now, and hey, let me know what you think down in the comments. Thanks for watching, see ya.